Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be showing you how to get this flawless foundation application featuring Jafra Cosmetics matte foundations and matte pressed powders. So if you want to see how I got this look, then keep on watching. Okay, so I've already prepped my skin just by applying some moisturizer. So all the products that I'm going to be using today are by Jafra Cosmetics, and I'm going to first start off with their Mattifying Primer. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit on my fingertips, and I'm going to work it into my T-zone as if it were moisturizer. So around on the center of the forehead, bringing it down along the cheeks. I do get oily all up in here, as well as around the mouth area, especially with us now wearing masks. I need to make sure that my makeup stays put. Now, if you guys know me and have been following me for a while, y'all know how I feel about primers. So I'm still on the fence about this. I don't know how I feel about it just yet. This is my second time trying it out. It does feel very smooth on the skin. I have yet to test it out a full day to see if it really does control the shine. So my skin has not been doing the greatest lately. But you know what? We're gonna work with it. Got this massive pimple under my chin that I just literally saw as soon as I sat down to film with you guys. Lucky me. But I'm so glad at the same time that I have these acne scarring along and some redness so that you can see how full coverage the foundation is. That's what I'm excited about the most. Okay, so before we move along to the face, I'm going to be using their Imperfection Corrector. Going in with this Corrector palette, I'm going to be using this orange shade to color correct and cancel out the darkness under my eyes. Then I'm going to go over top of the orange corrector with this shade right here. Using a flat synthetic brush, I'm going to pick up some of the orange product and I'm going to start to apply it under the eyes. I do have darkness under my eyes. Whether you can see it well or not on camera is because of the lighting, but I do have quite a bit of darkness. I also want to cancel out the darkness on my eyelids, so I'm just applying that on there as well. Also right in here, I don't want any darkness, so that when we lay our concealer, it gives us a clean base to work with. So I'm just switching over to this flat side. I'm just blending that all out. Same thing on the other eye. So again, I'm applying it right in the hollows where I have the darkness. Right up in here in the corner. And then with what's left over, I'm actually flipping the brush over to the other side and just blending that inwards onto the lid. As I mentioned, I don't want any darkness showing. So I'll just pick up a little bit more product. Okay, so I do have some darkness around the mouth area. I'm going to go in and color correct that area as well. And I'm just using the bigger side of the brush. And I like how light this corrector is. And the reason why I'm color correcting is because if I don't and I go in with my foundation shade for this area, it can look a little bit, it can give a grayish effect, give an ashy tone. Same thing for under the eyes. For under the eyes, I do like it to be a little bit more brighter, so I'll go lighter on my concealers. But if I go straight in with the light shade on top of darkness, it's just going to create a gray cast. So to prevent that, that's why we color correct. So now I'm going to go in with this shade right here. I'm using the flat side of the brush. And I'm going to start to pat over the orange corrector. I'm not picking up too much product because, as I mentioned, I'm going to be brightening up under the eyes later. And this is just to prepare ourselves for the concealer. It may seem like a lot of product, but it's really not. This is super thinly applied. And when working under the eyes, it's so important to use a patting motion, very gentle. You want to be very, very gentle under the eye. No drag and no pulling, because the under eye area, the eye area in general, is very, very sensitive. So we don't want to create premature wrinkles. And again, around the mouth area. I could really honestly do my whole face with just this palette. That's how good this coverage this is without being so thick or heavy. It feels very light. Okay, so now we're ready to move on to concealer. So as a recap, we corrected using the orange corrector, then we concealed using the medium shade from the palette, and now we're going to brighten under the eye. So it's a 3-step process. It's not something that's absolutely necessary because I could really just add foundation and call it a day, after powder of course. But I want to show you guys the full in-depth on how I really do a full coverage foundation look. So I'm going to go in now with Jafra's CC Cream Concealer, Broad Spectrum SPF 20. And this is actually one of their corrector shades, but I'm going to be using it as an under eye brightener. And I'm going to go in with shade Light 2. So it comes in a stick form, okay? But what I'm gonna do is go back in with a small concealer brush and start to pick up some product. And I'm not going up under the eye anymore. Now I'm keeping it concentrated in this triangle shape. Doing it this way will give the eye the lift and brightness. Okay, so I'm just going to blend that out. So as you can see already, this has gotten a lot more brighter than this side. Repeat the same process on the other eye. Again, we're focusing it right in the hollows, not bringing it straight up under the eye because we don't want too much product under there. Okay, so now we are ready for foundation. So when it comes to foundation, I always, no matter what brand it is, I always end up mixing 2 shades. It's very rare that I ever find one perfect shade. So same thing goes with these products, with Jafra's. So I'm going to be using the shade Bisque and Tan. And I always like to match my foundation to my chest area because this is the area that the sun naturally hits. When I'm out in the sun, my face is usually covered in sunscreen and I don't tend to tan that area. So this is the area that I like to match, as well as the shoulders. So this whole area is what we're trying to match. The neck, not so much. The neck is hidden by our chin. So the chest is a very important area to focus on when matching your shade of foundation. Now I can go on and on about the undertones of foundation, but there's so many. Honestly, there's warm, cool, just too many. For me personally, I believe that I am a neutral, but I can also be a neutral cool and neutral warm, depending on how I tan and in the time of the year. We'll save that whole topic for a whole nother video. But for today, we're gonna focus on these 2 foundation shades, Tan and Bisque. I'm mainly the shade Bisque. I wanna show you guys what that looks like alone. So I always like to test here on the bottom of my, on the jawline, because this is the area that's closest to my chest and it's a lot easier to match that way. So here we go, that's Bisque. So Bisque alone is a little bit too light. So now we got Tan. Okay, so those 2 shades mixed together is gonna give me my perfect shade match. I'm gonna leave that on. I'm gonna do I wouldn't say a 75% Bisque. I want to mix on the back of my hand, and then a drop or 25% of Tan. So I just mixed the 2 shades on the back of my hand. Okay, this is what we have. So it's a bit warm. Their shade of shades of foundations tend to be more warm. So since we have this on this side and all the acne scarring on this side, I want to show you what it looks like. I basically just picked it up on a buffer brush. This is an angled contour blush brush, but I love how soft it is and it really gives me that airbrushed finish. So I'm going to start to apply it around here. And I'm just pushing, packing it into the skin. And I'm going over the nose area, slightly above where we laid down the light concealer shade. And I'm just buffing out the edges. So most of the product has already been applied to the skin, and now I'm just buffing it out. But look how well that covered all those acne scars. Crazy good. So even though this is a matte foundation, it doesn't feel drying to the skin. Jafra is really good about having beneficial ingredients for your skin. So it's good for your skin. And bam. So this side is with the foundation applied, and this side hasn't yet been applied, so you can see all the redness and rosiness in my skin. And here we go. We got our, well, it's also important to note that we always want to bring whatever's left over from the brush down to our neck and chest area, just for a completely seamless blend. So I'm just going to mix a little bit more. Again, I'm using a dab of tan, and I'll show you what I mean. So it's a dab of tan, but mainly we're using Bisque, and start to apply it. Alright, so the next product that we're going to get into is their matte pressed powders. And again, I like to mix shades for different areas of the face. So I'm first going in with the shade Cream. And this is, again, Jafra's matte pressed powder. And I like this shade for the centers of the face. I'm actually using the same blush brush, the one that we use to apply our foundation. And I'm just going straight into the powder. And I'm gonna set, okay, so I'm just applying it in a pushing, patting motion. Over the eyelid. Okay, so you can see already the difference that it has, that is giving me in this side versus this side. This side is still wet. This side is starting to look more matte with this powder. I'm going to go ahead and just lightly set the rest of the face. We're going to go in bronze with a different shade in just a sec. Alright, so here we have it. This side of the face has been set already. This side has not been set yet. I'm going to go ahead and finish this side, and then I'll meet you right back. Okay, so now we're going to go in with the shade Caramel. This is, for me, the perfect bronzy shade. We're going to use that to sculpt, not really contour, but to sculpt the face, just to give it a sun-kissed glow. So I'm just hugging right up on the cheekbones. Again, we're using that patting motion. We don't want to disturb the product that we have laid down beneath. Going on the forehead. The purpose behind me sculpting the face is because the foundation will give us a flat, all even one shade, and will look flat. It would look 1D, and we want to look 3D. We want to create some dimension, give it the dimension back into the skin naturally. So by adding a bronzy tone around the perimeter of the face where the sun would naturally kiss us, it gives a healthy overall finish. So I'm also going along the jawline. And when it comes to the jawline, I do want to make sure that not so much product is on there. So I am using the little back and forth motions. These pimples will not let me be great today. It's so ugly. Whatever. It's life. I love that even though I'm going ham on the powder, it doesn't look like it. It's very, very soft. Filter finish, y'all. This powder is something else. So now I'm going to go in lightly contour my nose. First starting off with the tip of it because my nose is pretty long. So by cutting the tip of it or applying it here at the tip, it kind of shortens the length of the nose by creating this shadow. So also going on the sides of the nose, just pinching my brush, creating two symmetrical lines on the sides. Also going into the crease of the eye. Same thing on the other eye. Now we're going to soften the contour of the nose, and I'm going to use the shade Wheat. So yes, there's 3 different powders that I use, but trust me y'all, they all serve its purpose. So this shade Wheat is a little bit light, a little bit darker than the shade Cream that we use to set the face. Let me just show you side by side. This is Wheat and this is Cream. So Wheat is what we're going to go in right now, and we're going to carve around the sides of the nose and further set the under eye area. Okay, so it actually does come with a sponge. I'm going to use that, just fold it over, and I'm going to go over the line that we just did, just to help snatch the nose a little bit more, but also soften that line a little bit. Gonna go a little bit under the eye to further set and give us some more color back into the skin. So as you can see the difference, this side is a lot brighter. So you can definitely leave it like this, but I like it to be a little bit more blended and put together. I don't like harsh lines. Now, what I also like to do, if I'm being extra, is carve out our area that we bronzed up. So you don't need to contour, but by doing this, it gives that cut, that cheekbone cut. I'm just gonna pop on a shimmer tone to the eyelid, really quick with my fingers. Curl my lashes, apply some mascara, apply some blush. So for lipstick, I'm going in with Jafra's Royal Jelly lip gloss in the shade Regal Pink. It's just a pink iridescent shade of gloss, which I think is super pretty. And the final step would be to spray it all, lock it all in with Jafra's Beauty Dynamics Makeup Setting Spray. It smells so good. Okay, so that's the finished look. So I wanted to keep this look super natural, obviously. I wanted to focus on my foundation and showing you guys how I found my perfect match by mixing those 2 shades with Jafra Beauty's matte foundations along with their matte powders. Hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know in the comments down below what you would like to see in any of my future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time.